Well, hello everyone. If you don't know me, my name is Morgan Malcolm and this is my channel, Love Where You Live. So clearly today is a little bit different than normal. I absolutely love Halloween, so I was thinking of a way to incorporate a video for Halloween that kind of incorporates loving where you live and celebrating holidays. So I came up with this video. I do these every year for my past clients as like a client appreciation. And then we always include a couple friends and family for them, and they're called boo bags. So if you haven't heard of them, it's either you've been booed or you've been boozed. So the boozed is the adult version and the booed is the kid version. So I actually have already filmed this video once before, but my audio cuts out in a couple of places, so I'm going to use as much of the previous footage as possible, but I didn't do full makeup for that one, but I do have my costume on, so you can still see that. So just for you to know, my costume is this bodysuit, which is skeleton. And I got it off of wish.com, so I was surprised at how good of a quality this is. It's actually really pretty thick and nicely printed on. It doesn't look like it's gonna fade or fall apart anytime soon, and it's pretty warm, which is great. I ordered a size up because I'm pretty tall and I have really long arms and legs, so I wanted to try to get it as long as possible. It's still a little short on my arms and legs, but the large actually fits pretty good. And then my contacts, which are amazing. I love them so much. These are from Colored Contacts, and they are the Blue Elf, I believe, and I'll put that in the description box below. So let's go over what's in these bags and how you can create it for yourself. All right, let's get started. Let's talk about what's included in the You've Been Boozed bag. So first, the bag looks like this. It says You've Been Boozed. And I like on here, it just says Halloween isn't just for kids. Consider yourself boozed. I think that's fun. And then again, on the back, I put my contact information, but if you're giving it to friends and family, I would just write a little note and attach that on here, just saying it's from you. And then I always do the skull and crossbones for the adults because I feel like that's a little bit more fitting for an adult. Again, with the printables, they're all free on Pinterest. So this one was on its own, I believe, and then I printed one like this that says, "We've been boozed," and then it has a cute little saying on it. I always put in one of these little quotes, but this one is adult version. It says, "Hey boo, let's get sheep-faced," and it's two little ghosts, and I just think things like this are funny. Again, you change things to your personality, so if that's not something that fits you, don't put those in there. Do it whatever would fit for you and make sense. So that's basically what the bag looks like, and I always paper clip this to the inside, and it keeps it safely attached so that the instructions and stuff don't randomly blow away or something. But what's in the actual bag is really fun. So I go to the dollar store, and I always get these little cups. They have a different version each year, which is fun so that it's not the same thing, but I always do one of these big cups. This one has a skeleton hand. It came in a couple different colors, so I just get different colors because it's fun. Inside that, I put a little quote that says, "Let's get smashed," and it's a pumpkin, and I think that's funny. This is a glass shot glass, and they're actually really nice. So it's a skull head. I got these from Target, and they were $3 for 4 of them, but I actually got them last year on sale for half off, so it was only like $1.50 for 4 shot glasses, which is really good. And I always put one of those inside this cup, and I keep that together. This is sanding sugar, and I added the orange, white, and black together, and I put it in these little test tubes because I think that's fun. So that's for rimming drinks. I always put in a stir stick, so these come in a pack of, I believe, 10 to 12. They were at Target, and they're also at Michael's, so you can go ahead and get those from there. I like the pumpkins. They also had bats, which were cute, but they were sold out when I went to get them, so we got pumpkins this year. I do put in a couple pieces of candy. These are the Kit Kat that are pumpkin pie flavored, so I figured that was fun. I've never seen those before, so I figured people may want to try them. So I always throw those in, and I like to contain, I mean, it's not a very big bag, so if you can stack everything together that fits better inside the bag, this works really well. So to the fun stuff. So this year I went a little creative because usually I just go and get like mini shots from the liquor store that are just the generic shots and just put those in a bag together. I usually wrap a different label on them to make it fun, but this year I actually went and got empty shot glasses. So I ordered a ton of these little things empty. And then I made my own concoctions to put in them. So we'll go over that. But these labels, so there's 4 different labels. This one says blood wine. This one says spider brew. This one says demon brew. And then this one says zombie virus. These were all on Pinterest as a free printable. So I printed a whole bunch off and then just cut them all off. And then you just tape it on using like a duct tape, a clear duct tape. And I'll show you how I did that. I actually did one for the camera, so I'll put that in at the very end of explaining all of these. But basically in these 2 is one drink, and then in this one, these 2 is a different one, and I'll show you what I made for those. But these are just cute little shots. I filled them up and then put the lids on, so I gave them 2 of each of them in the bag. This one I thought was fun. So again, online you can find anything these days. But I found empty urine specimen cups, and I think they're like legit urine specimen cups that are sterile and ready for actual medical use. But I filled them with alcohol because they're sterile, and why not? Because that's more fun than filling them with anything else. So these ones I made, it's basically like a lemon drop in here because I wanted something yellow. And then I wrote on the label, so just the date, I put that it's Halloween, room 213, because for some reason I feel like there's a movie with that. Maybe not, I don't know, just making up stuff. For the name it says Jack-o'-lantern. For the doctor it's Dr. Jekyll, and the specimen type I put unknown. You can obviously fill it out to whatever you feel like. If you can be more creative than me, then go for it. But I thought those were funny, and I just put those on all of these, so everyone gets one of those. So the other thing I found online are these blood bags. So I really love these. I was a vampire one year and I got them to have with my costume. But I was like, I bet these would be great in the booze bags. So what I did is I ordered a ton of them. They come empty. I actually bought a pre-mixed raspberry, margarita. So I already had the tequila and the mix all together. I added a slight amount of red, like 1 or 2 drops to the whole thing to make it a little bit more red. And then you get a syringe and you fill these up, and I'll show you how I do that also at the end of this. So there's one of those in each of the bag, and you do write on it. So this is from Dracula. His age is 666, and then I put that he's every blood type because I would assume vampires are every blood type. Who knows? Who knows? And then the last thing that I put in them are one of these syringes with a Jello shot in it. So I'll show you how to make the Jello shot that I put in these ones. And it actually stays in here without a cap or anything on it really well. But just in case, I always put this in the shot glass. So it sits in there just in case something leaks. So we put our cup filled with everything in it. And I like how you can kind of see this little syringe sticking out. I do the shots in there just around it. The urine specimen cup goes in. And then we have our blood bag, and I put it in upside down, again, just to avoid any leaking or anything like that. And then this gets put on the paper clip. So that is everything that's in the You've Been Boozed bag, but let's go over what's in all of those little containers and what drinks I made, and I will put up to all of the alcohol that you need to get and all of the recipe quantities at the very end. I'll put the quantities and stuff up. So let's go ahead and get into the making the drinks. Here are all the containers you'll have to order ahead of time to make these booze bags. The blood bag, urine specimen cup, and the mini shots were all ordered off of Amazon, and the test tube was ordered off of Wish. And I'll link all of that in the description box below so you can go ahead and get them if you would like to order those. Next, we'll talk about the alcohol. So this is all of the alcohol that I got specifically for this. If you do have things or you prefer a specific brand, you can go ahead and mix and match. Most of the things just say like vodka or rum, and you can get whatever brands within that category you want. And then I did a pre-mixed margarita, and I'll talk about where that goes and why I did that when we get there.
So let's go ahead and talk about how we labeled all of the mini shots. So I printed all of these little labels off of Pinterest. You just take those, cut them out. I took clear tape and I placed them face down in the middle of the tape. And then you just line up that label on the mini shot. And I like to start in the middle of it and wrap it around. And if you put too much tape or you got too much there, you can just snip off that. And then you want to seal it down, and then these are now waterproof and ready to be filled. The first drink we're going to do is the purple drink, which is the blood wine or Demon's Brew. And that's 1.5 parts vodka, 1 part blue curacao, and I'm sure I said that wrong, 1 part sweet and sour mix, 1 part cranberry juice, and it's an optional to have 1 part grenadine. And then it makes this nice deep blue purple color. And then I just went ahead and filled all of those using a syringe that actually came with the blood bags, but I believe you can just get those at the store by themselves. And that worked really great. Next is going to be the embalming fluid, which I filled the spider blood and zombie virus mini shots with. That is 3 ounces of orange pineapple juice. You can get them separate if you can't find it together. 2 ounces of rum, 2 ounces of the blue curacao, and 2 ounces of grenadine, 2 ounces of lime juice. And then I went ahead and filled all of those mini shots, again, using that syringe, which was really helpful. There really wasn't any mess with it, and it worked perfectly. So once you've filled all of those, they all came with their own lids, so you can seal them shut, and they're all nice and secure. Next is going to be the Urine Specimen cups, which is a lemon drop. That you'll need 2 cups of vodka, 1/3 cup triple sec, 1/2 cup of freshly squeezed lemon juice, and 1/2 cup of super fine sugar. So I couldn't find fine sugar, or I just didn't do it. I just used the sugar I had, which took forever to dissolve, and it didn't really dissolve all the way, so I would recommend doing that. I did add a couple of drops of the yellow food coloring for it to be that nice pea color. And then we just filled all of those specimen cups. And I ended up making about 2 batches of this to make all of the ones that I needed for all of my bags, but make as much as you need. Like if you're doing a party, you might make more. If you only want to do a couple booze bags, then 1 batch is definitely going to be enough. And then I just sealed all of those and shut the labels. Next is going to be the syringes or the Jello shots. And for that, you're going to need 1 cup of rum, 1 cup of cold water, 2 3-ounce packages of gelatin, and I did strawberry and cherry flavoring, and then 2 cups of boiling water. So you basically mix the gelatin with the boiling water until the gelatin is all dissolved. And then once that is done, you're going to pour that into the rum and cold water mixture, and that's how you make these. Then you just take your empty syringes and you fill them with as much of that Jello shot as you'd like. I filled them all the way because why not? And this actually made quite a bit, so you could half it and just do 1 of the gelatin and then half everything else. But I had a whole other package of those, so that was more than enough. Moving on to the blood bags. So this I used that pre-made Jose Cuervo margarita, which was a raspberry. I just found it simpler for me not to have to buy a tequila and a mix and then mix it together and hope it turned out well. I figured this was going to be good. I added a couple of drops of red food coloring just to give it that nice red color. And then I used the syringe that came with these blood bags to fill them. And it's actually really simple. So you just put as much as you want in there. They can actually hold quite a bit. So I found 3 syringefuls was quite a bit of liquid in them. And then they came all separate, so you have to put the labels on and then the little closures, and I recommend doing that before you start filling them because the little closures are kind of tricky to get on. So I would put them on ahead of time like I'm doing here, and then you're ready just to fill them all and shut it as you go. So I'm going to just finish those, and here I am filling all of them. And again, I found 3 syringefuls was a good amount. So after I do the little closure, I tap out the straw on a paper towel to just make sure that that is not having anything in there that can make things sticky or leak or, you just don't want any of that. So I just made sure that those were all tapped off before I put them in any of the bags. And I stored all of these in the fridge until I was ready to actually deliver them. Finally, we're going to talk about the little test tubes with the sanding sugar. I had a hard time finding the black and the white for some reason, so I found those two at Michael's. And then the orange was at King Soopers, and I just eyeballed how much of the orange I wanted in there. And you just basically mix them all together and then fill the little test tubes with them, and then they're a nice little sanding sugar. Here is all of the recipes that I used and what the drinks have, and so if you want to make them, you can go ahead and do that yourself.
Okay, so now we're going to go over what is inside the boo bags. So I, again, like to do the least amount of candy possible, but the one thing I always like to put in them is this little one. So it's a saying, it's the 5 little pumpkins sitting on a fence. It's a rhyme. I'll put it up so you can see it. This is an image and just little thing that I made. So I just went online and made this myself. But there are some free printables online. I just found they didn't say the whole entire sentence of each one, which bothered me because it didn't quite make sense. So I just went ahead and created it. If you'd like a copy of it, just send me an email and I'll shoot it over to you. And then I put the 5 little pumpkins that are those little snack pumpkins or treat pumpkins in the bags so that they have the 5 little pumpkins to go with their little rhyme. So we always put that in. Some of the other fun things that I like to do are printables. They make it easy. You can do 4 on a page, so you're not wasting a ton of paper. But I always like to do, it is a Halloween word search. So I don't know if that's going to come up close enough. But it's basically just cute little easy Halloween words for kids to be able to do. This one is how many can you find of each? So kind of like a Where's Waldo, but a Halloween version. So I always put one of those in. And then I change these every year so they don't get boring. This one is a little Halloween Sudoku. So it should be an easy one for kids to be able to figure out. But again, for some of the older kids, that would be fun. And then an educational one is this is just pumpkin counting. So they just count the pumpkins and find the number. We always like one of those in there. As far as fun little things, these are little sticker packets. So I just put a couple little Halloween stickers in. This is Bubbles. So this came in one of those Target pre-packaged little gift sets. So this was in there. This little game was in there. So I put one of those in. And then some of these little figurines were in there. So little skeleton was in there. This little mouse was in there, little bat. And these are all plastic and they can just play with them. Skeleton, and then this little spider, and finally a snake. All different Halloween type things. So this was in, I believe, the package as well. These are little jumpy frogs so you can make them jump. And those are cute and fun to play with. I do always like to put in rings. So these are little bat rings, and then these are the little spiders. And those came from the dollar store. 2 more printables. These are little coloring sheets. So at the bottom it has a code. So it'll make a Halloween image for the kids that do like to color. My son did the pumpkin, so we have that one done. And stamp. So this again, dollar store. Just a little stamp goes in there. I always like to do the vampire teeth, and I put them in a little Halloween just reusable bag so they don't get dirty or anything before they use them. And if there's more than one kid, I do multiples of things because some of them have siblings, things like that. A couple of the little Halloween jokes. So they're kid jokes. This one is, what kind of street does a vampire live on? And the answer is a dead end. So I think that's funny. Parents can put them in lunches or whatever. And then this one, what is a scarecrow's favorite fruit? And it's strawberries. Isn't that funny? And then I like a little activity. So this is their little foam. They punch out the little things and it will make a little bat. So I always put that in there. I will make copies of this in the instructions and put them in each one so they know what to do with it. These are just a couple little tiny cat erasers, so those will go in there. And then a little straw with these cute, adorable little ghosts on it. So that goes in there. One of the ones that I saw this year that I wanted to do is this is a cute little balloon pumpkin, and it has a couple pieces of candy in it. So I went ahead and made a bunch of these. I usually don't do this much candy, but I thought these were so cute, I just had to do it. So what you do for these is you basically take a solid orange balloon. I stretched it open, so it was a 2-person job. And then I had someone shove some candy into it. And we fill it as much as possible. You can really shove some in there. But they're all small little pieces of candy. And then you just blow it up, but barely. So the smaller it is, the better it looks. So basically that much is how much. So enough so that you don't see the candy pieces sticking into it anymore. But any more than that, and it starts getting really weird looking and too big. And then you just take a Sharpie and you draw on a little face. I always like to do one that's a vampire pumpkin. So he has little vampire teeth. And then a smile. So that's his little face. And then I tie on just some green ribbon. I did 3 pieces and then I just curled it. And then I cut off that little top piece so that that's not sticking up. And it turns into a cute little pumpkin balloon. So that goes in there. Now, as far as the bag goes, the front of it, again, looks like this. This is something I found on Pinterest. So I just printed it off, cut it, and then glued it onto a solid black bag. I always put my information on the back because these are for clients usually and friends. So I just put that on there for all of them. And then a cute little foam guy. These were all from dollar store, so they have different versions. Sometimes it's pumpkins, sometimes I do the bats. I usually always do the skull and crossbones for the adult version because I feel like it's a little aggressive. But those are cute and done. And then the only other thing is getting the instructions. So this printable came with all of the instructions together. So it had this one where they placed this in the window that says, "We've been booed." And it has the most adorable little tiny ghost on it. I love him. And then it has the directions on it. So it says, "You've just been booed. Now it's your turn. Put together a surprise that's fun and Halloweeny. Add these tags and leave it on someone's doorstep. Hang the 'We've been booed' sign in your door so others know you've already been booed." So that's the instructions. So I always paper clip that on just like for the adult one. And then I always like to put for the kids, it's called a ghost hug. You can't feel it, but it's there. And I just think that is just such a cute saying. So I always put that on them. And we will just paper clip this onto the bag. And then these are done. Now, again, there is a shortage of a helium right now in the US. For some reason, who knew that? So instead, I usually put a helium balloon on these and place them at the door so that they can see it. But instead, I'm going to be doing these balloon sticks. So this is the stick. And basically, it has this little top piece that you attach the balloon to. And then it's a long stick. So I'm going to tape it onto one of these so that it's sticking up so they can see it. And let me grab my one that's done because I don't know. Okay, so this is what it will look like. It has a cute little vampire pumpkin on it. And then I just blow those up, stick it on these sticks, and then we can see it so that they know there's something outside their house. All right, well, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know this was a little bit out of the norm of what we normally do, but I love having some Halloween themed videos thrown in there because I do love Halloween so much. If you did like this video, please feel free to give me a thumbs up down below. And if you haven't yet subscribed, please hit subscribe and click that notification bell so you know whenever I upload any new videos. All right, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.